Just gotta put on my headphones. Put on my headphones. Gotta get my headphones. Alright, there you go. We're in. We're making it work. Continue! Alright, start playing. Yes. Trial, part 3. Now we're gonna finish this off. Now we're gonna make it work. Oh, man. 22nd November, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is after Susato Mikotoba comes in. Well, I understand you were judicial assistant to the defense. I almost said political, but okay. But why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha, a judicial assistant, and a woman no less. Yes, because everything back then was sexist. Ugh. The rule states that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yeah, what better way to bring out a game set in the Meiji era other than to bring a few sexist jokes here and there? Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial's already been concluded. Really? 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Susato. My God. Ooh. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Shikanganai. Please simply accept this for now. What is it? What is it? A report about something written in English. English? It's Giselle Brett's research. What? English ruins? After a trial resumed earlier, I heard back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. And yet, you decided to give it to me anyways. Wait, do we actually have it? No, we don't. Not yet. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. We have to say, Sogi, special characteristics of Carrere and its effects on the human subjects. Interesting. Carrere? What's that? I've never heard of that word before. Carrere. What? Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little for me to read in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. Goodbye, then, and good luck. What do you see at me? What do you get me? Report detailing an unknown poison and misspred has been researched during your time at University. Poison made from the bark of a certain tree in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it once since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effect occurs if the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it is believed that the toxin could have an application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Interesting. Ganbatte. You have had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Oh, great. This paper. Wait. Is this paper really useful? But then again, back in the Meiji era Japan, I don't think that many legal procedures have been developed, especially for discovery. Ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryusuke, we're out of options here. And I need to save it. repeatedly. Or at least once. Wait, are we actually up? Yeah, we're up. I should check. Wait, are we actually up? Yeah, we're good. Okay, I made sure we're up. Okay, give me a second. I had to check the live stream for a second. Alright. We're good. We're good. Okay. I would have been really embarrassed if I had to start and not realize I was starting. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. There you go. Now you learn to slam it. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Really? Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you would grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to play the clock. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat that as an order. Ooh. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. Don't judge a language by whatever you don't like about it. My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? This! Here! Yes! Mr. Zelbrett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at UMaine University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Carrere, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. Objection! What? What a complete and utter nonsense. Carrere, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Carrere before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Carrere. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of a highly deadly poison. What?! Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by a visiting research student from England, Carrere has long been used by the tribes people of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among the European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows. The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep within the Amazonian jungle. Wait, isn't that South America? And it was first brought to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals struck with the arrows like the Carrere suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Objection! Her research notes bring that trumpery. I don't think you put trippy tramp on this one. These aspirations are utter trumpery. You start with, if their victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would surely have noticed. No. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. No. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. I don't think that is the case, because the poison doesn't cause pain. It's simply instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. It causes paralysis. It doesn't cause writhing pain. That's not how poison works. At least not according to this one. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Carrere was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they are in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Oh my god! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he could collapse on the floor. But with the chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison caused immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration. In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look like almost the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly career poison. And that's what Brett is studying. What do you have to say to that? And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison.
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever, but you must be taught. Oh wow, you told frickin' Ouchie to shut up. It is you who must be taught. Of course, Machiro. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a lonesome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Ha ha ha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes. I don't see, why not? Why would you allow her to have the bottle? Why? Really? You're gonna drink that frickin'... Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. Really? It's all a joke to you. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the game's end. Cheers. You're gonna drink the water. Wait! What are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for the shabby affair. You frickin' drank the poisoned water. She drank the evidence. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no Kirei. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course. That's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the final findings of my research so concisely in the grand vein. Most kind. Grr. Thank you, Ueda. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should, be excused now, please. I think I've got more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have been given. No, she's saying there's no curare in there. If there was curare in there, or God, however that thing is pronounced, why didn't it work on Miss Brett? Why did it work on Dr. Wilson, but it didn't work on Miss Brett? Well, what's the difference between Dr. Wilson and Miss Brett? Well, Dr. Wilson had a tooth extracted, so... And... he wasn't able to eat he wasn't able to eat, but he was able to drink. But... that would have left an open wound in his mouth. But this thing said it enters through the body through a wound, such as a blowpipe dart. But what Dr. Wilson had was a tooth removed. So that's how it got through. There had to be a poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell a tale? I don't understand it. I know, because she doesn't have an open wound in her mouth. Well, if I suppose nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to be been poison in a bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have kneeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. It did contain poison. The culprit did put Carrera poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way the bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? Because there's a big difference between Miss Brett and Dr. Wilson. There was cure. It didn't work on Miss Brett because she didn't have an open wound in her mouth. But Dr. Wilson did, because of the tooth removal. I need to think it through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposed deadly poison water unscathed? I think it's this. This explains that there had to be an open wound. So it's either the report or the medical. You know what? I'll go with the medical. And if that doesn't work, we all know what happened. Here!
Yes!
It seems the defense, or should I say, the wretched accused, is only the real source of a complication in this case. You'll have to think harder than that, defendant. Sorry, Your Excellency. I'll try to find some better supporting evidence. So it is the report. You're making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. Alright, I'll do my best to find an answer that fits the facts. So it's not the medical report. The defense, sorry, the wretched accused, truly intend to assert this claim. Then I must ask you to support. Ah, crap. It's in the research report. Here!
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. It is. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This meeting young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest. I'm just reading Sasato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. It has to be in special characteristics. Road of entry. You should answer the riddle. Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, counsel? Well, it sounds as though the indigenous hunter have been using the poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So you've been led to believe. Yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But, if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would have been traces of poison left in the prey that hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, counsel, no! That would be madness! But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. Poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of the particular detail seems a bit strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. So she knew she could drink it. You meddling little... What the... Rapscallion! Oh man, that swan came alive. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Really? All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. Yeah, your book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish language has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers. What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, wouldn't he? Ah! That's right. Good gracious. What he did, that's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to have said no. Actually, no, that's basic logic. Because science is a little bit more complicated. Order! Order in the court! Order! Logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be unaffected in the same way. But no! The professor had a tooth removed. He was susceptible to the poison. Are you trying to suggest? Yes! This curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something simple as that. What is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. The sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. Interesting! I think Phoenix Wright said the same thing. I can't remember. I think it must have been from the second game, Justice for All. I don't know, there's a bit of similarity here. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Really? You finally say objection? I don't think so, Mr. Zelbrecht. How? How do you use that tongue with me? That's quite an expression you got. You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even if both of you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. And I need to save it. Again. For the millionth time in a row. Okay. As we now know that poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Prairie? Because of this! Here!
That!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects occur are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Heh, heh. Is she? What? Laughing? No, she's gargling. Oh, great. She's the only one with knowledge of the poison. And she knew about the events that led up to her using the poison on him. I'd like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. Haven't seen you not sick yet. Trying not to be sick. Trying not to be sick. There we go. Okay, there we go. I've been guzzling down so much water and vitamin C. What? You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. Really? No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed the bottle. And in the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much water in the broken bottle as possible, at once! You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it'll be soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of the mind to recover it. Ah ha ha ha! How could you? You won't get away with this! You can't thump the bench and shut as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If they're really poison in the bottle or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right. And really look at this photograph. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor sitting here with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him was for the front, is the little schoolboy. you're still gonna turn it around after denying everything.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using Kareri. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor dead in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. Really? The gaslighting bitch. You're giving me a hard time. A hidden gun, you say, and I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How could this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed the evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now the only one who can finish it. 1 second. What? What do you mean? We lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head. You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Can I remember everything from this colorblind scene? Every color. Ooh. Blood on the frickin' plate. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there really be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? I'm gonna say yes, because it's the only thing I got. There's a clue. The plate. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I may have uncovered another clue. Haha, you always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. What evidence? Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling at me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is, that could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's that scene. Is there somewhere the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson... okay, I gotta say it so many times. Or otherwise, I gotta remember. Even it's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... that blood stain. Here! Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else. What game is this? It's... The Great Ace Attorney. So basically, it's that game I've been telling everybody about, that I wanted to live stream. Finally. I wonder if, therefore, perhaps you took anything from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going with... Where are you going with this, little boy? Okay. It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photograph print with my own eyes that day. And what I saw on the wooden base of the plate the steak was served on was a splattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything here. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have been made onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brett! I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe that something is accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
Now you got the confidence. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you've been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. You took 2 steaks? Wait, what? And I did it all in the name of justice. What did you do? Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now! Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir! So is there really blood on the plate? Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. There is no blood. But why? No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! Why? Why? I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Heh. How? How? Didn't he just say he took 2 plates? Heh. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Not a good way to look at it, you frickin' racist English woman. Ah! Tisk, I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire, I believe we may finally have reached the conclusion of this trial. No. There's gotta be a reason why the blood is not there. Are you sure that's the right plate? Let's hope so. Let's pretend attempt at court proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. My God. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. Really? If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine again, be my guest. The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. Was the plate I saw, or I thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? Maybe I actually need to take a look. Removed from the victim's table after the incident. Huh. Okay. What about this? What the? Huh? What in the world is this? It's a frickin' Koban coin. That's what it is. But why did it end up there? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No! I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you just say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes. Apart from the juice, means it has to be in good condition. I mean, it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been a talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means a frickin' Koban coin. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era. That would make it really quite valuable. Well, it's marinated in juices as well. Look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak in the expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. It was left there by someone. There's a frickin' Koban coin inside the steak. Or at least underneath it. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Owari Shinai. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. What? Why? Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to be clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. There's a Koban coin underneath it. Why is that there? Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that would reveal a shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of the country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you're alluding. Or precisely on this plate of beef steak is a new clue to be found. Yeah. So, examine that first. I think we already gone through this. Wait. You say... Okay, just skip the whole thing. Just skip the whole thing. Just skip it. Alright. Alright, here. Here! Got it! Good. Gracious! That's... Koban? What on earth? A Hoei era one, at that. Miss Spretz. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant of the day in question, is it? Tell me. Why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
Really? You're gonna tell him, Ryunosuke, to shut up? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it!
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin underneath. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in the moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hawaii cone just happens to be underneath the piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. No, there's a reason why. There's a reason why it's under there. It's because it was put under there by a certain sergeant who wanted the coin. How do I know that? Because he had a guilty look on his face when that antique dealer mentioned the coin. He's right. Can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hawaii coin just happened to be underneath this piece of steak. If this turns up to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you. Anyway. Really? Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Kyoryo Kurikuta. Him! Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rasute. Kyoryo Kurikuta-san. Kyori, as in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite infallible. I might have a hard time with names, but you don't have to harshly criticize it. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that it was up to something with the Koban coin when it happened, at exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Horror Koban, my prized coin. Is that a Sarah Coleman coin? Do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
What are Kurikoto-san's Koban's coin? Be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and his plate. It makes no sense.
Yes!
There is a reason. Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurikoto-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch. But if we chase down the real second menace of this Koban, we'll find out that it's a key element in the case. Maybe the plates were switched at some point. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for the little baby? I do! When my son's belly is empty, it's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more, have I say, the sun has been set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kurikoto-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen the Koban done? Ah! Yes, that's it. The one, the very one. Also, you stabbed the sergeant in the foot. The very exact one that is. The most splendid whole treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. I can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwich between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in a seasoned meat's juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my hoy treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. I think I know who did it. And it's the sergeant. He had the guilty look on his face. And he still has that guilty look on his face. Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Mochiron. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. The Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant, interacts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes, indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being infected. So that's why you're sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Chronicles Koban is all too clear. What? What? Interesting how... Oh wait, I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who's this despicable scoundrel that stole Chronicles Koban and hid it under the steak? It was Ayasunosa. Because he was the only one who was speaking with Chronicles-san on the day in question, and he had that guilty look in his face. Which explains everything. So, here!
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Ayasunosa! What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, didn't I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, Cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind it. You really gonna throw your son under the bus? You're gonna throw your son under the bus. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby. It's you, the monster, Sergeant Osa. Really? You. What the hell? Ah! What the hell? Ah! Oh, that's gotta break his back. That has gotta break something in the spine. What the hell? Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Ayasunosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. So you did it. You stole the Koban coin. Okay. Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages that the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remain in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living. Yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son! So that's why you're stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chopping away for a good steak at the same time. It sounds like you didn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. Why is that statement interesting? You didn't deal with a knife and fork. Interesting. And your target that day was the old man in his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was set to leave the stake. I was halfway through devouring it happened. Bang. Yes, the professor was shot. I knew that if the police contacted the search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I know too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the stake, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Really? So you put the coin under the stake, but this stake was found at the victim's table. So the plates were switched at some point. So maybe this is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett? Oh, of course, yeah. Lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm sure there's no need to detain you any longer. May the esteemed gentleman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby saddling sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. And as far as for picking up your stick and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Interesting. You should say that. Because I feel that explains why that's the case. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. No! Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call it out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? What parting words are you talking about? It was the fork and knife part. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. As for picking up your stick and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Really? Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see some evidence, Counsel. And I'm gonna need to save it again. But of course, for all the right reasons. Okay. If Miss Brett's words are truly contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? The stake itself! Here. Because... even if we were to lift it up and find the Koban coin... the reason why is because there are bite marks all over the stake. So this is the plate that Ayasa had. He bit into the stake. But she's saying it's unthinkable Because if she used this plate of steak, there would have been cut marks everywhere. So it's not her plate. It's interesting how she brings that up. Here!
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed? Yes? Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. Those are bite marks. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. This isn't her plate. Ah! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate anything about using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
Well, what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help... Nah. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot be possibly wait any longer. Of course, this will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave it. I've heard enough. You're returning the spectral samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. It's not her plate. And therefore, the real plate has the blood on it. You realize the catastrophe. The teeth marks on the steak have her. Ryusuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last. It's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with a cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything. Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Because... okay. I feel like I've gone blank for a second. I've gone blank. I don't know why I've gone blank. I don't know. Do I actually need to present evidence here? I need to present evidence. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence. How many times have I heard that today? You would know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
Oh, great. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. It's Hosonaga, because he said he had both plates. And if the person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request to the defense. The trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence? It was Hosonaga. He had both plates. So he has the other plate. Here!
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's right. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Notes told the court the following. I'd enjoy chopping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Chronicles-san, he told us he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course! I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meat to hide some— Oh, God. That statement. Oh, my God. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
What? That makes no sense. The plate that was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites off her steak, nor does she have the opportunity to steal a coin. Of course I didn't steal it. This even suggests the thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over? I think I am. I think you said it for me. You did switch the plates. You switched the plates. Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my own eye, like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If you decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. And when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was your die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. I gotta get some more water. However, fear not, prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So the plates were switched. So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That's what I was talking about. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah! Oh, she's all nervous. That's correct. Then please present it to the court right now. The real steak. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot!
Shut up!
What can you possibly tell us now? I mean, a close slab of tough meat. It can't have been the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan had proved such problems for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Tisk thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defense's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate we're eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beef steak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. There it is. Here's the other steak and its plate. There's a bloodstain. Please, feel free to examine it. There it is. The bloodstain. It's clearly visible.
Yes!
Look! Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the other side of the plate shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Nana Hado-sen to have shot the victim. Ah! It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett! It's you! Are you gonna flip out? Or is that swan gonna flip out? Outdone. By a Japanese. Me? By a Japanese schoolboy. No. No! Do not underestimate the Japanese schoolboy. They have many tricks up their sleeves. What the? That swan's out of control. Yeah! Is that swan laying eggs that just hatched immediately? What? There's a little black chicklet. Oh god. What the hell? She just rose up to heaven, and out she gets the black one. Little black chicklets. Little yellow tennis ball chicklets. Please excuse my little burst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what exactly happened that day. The truth, this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. She did it. She shot Dr. Wilson. But why? Why? It was I who took the professor's life using Carreri. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you plan to kill the professor, knowing that no trace poison would be found in this water, because Carreri is unheard of here in Japan. I wonder if it's actually real. Yes. Of course. I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. I'd leave immediately, however. Before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I conducted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Carrera in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Really? Under your skirt? Well, I was right. There were 2 guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the widow appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was a culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because, of course, we need to make it look like the defendant has shot Dr. Olson from where he picked up the gun. So it was the Englishman the whole time. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. I think it's more of a felony than a misdemeanor. That's a straight up felony. That's a felonious frickin' That's straight up felony! Right then and there! Murder in the restaurants! No, not funny. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder... Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. Is she just gonna leave like that? I hope you can forgive me. Naruhodo-san. You try to pin the murder on him. That's not something you can forgive easily, even if you did confess in the end. Is she gonna be held up on charges for this? That's a real question. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement? This can't be! Taketsuchi Yachi does not lose! Not to listen to this rookie student! You better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah! Ryunosuke Naruhodo! What? Yes? This insult to the Aoshi family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. Ooh. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Are you really gonna use that sword you've been holding on to for a while? You are gonna use that sword you've been holding on to for a long while. And cut his frickin' hair down. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Aoshi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western idea of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will bring us new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Sogi. Yes? Don't use your katana in here again. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wide world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. What mission is that? I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yes! And you, I sense, how can I put it? Unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how much you carry on onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. Finally, I finished. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Muzai! And Aoshi is still stunned from having his hair cut down. Really? A much brighter future. The court is now adjourned. 22nd November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants, Antechamber 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself. I made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke. You finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to the both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Uh-huh. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result, too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words shall really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Your dad's a university professor. Forgive me for intruding in the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts to expose a true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together. I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. You must carry on the baton. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. Really? I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is a soul. The blade shows me where I need to go. And it cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me of what happened to that woman. To Giselle Brett, I mean. And after all, she's guilty of murder. What about Ayesa? He should have been brought up of theft charges. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. Culprit! She'll be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? What? Shanghai? Giselle Bird will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. There was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. Congratulations. What? What's with all this consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's gonna bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious sensitive and highly political nature of your respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh. Can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our government's making a secret agreement about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. At least Naruhado was acquitted. But she's not gonna face justice, that's the problem. So Miss Bread can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid of that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance from her. So she was never going to be held accountable? I don't believe it! The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committed murder very seriously. We acquitted Naruhado, but she's still not going to be held to justice. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make a change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. The Meiji era is quite a tumultuous period in Japan. Much has happened after Edo period. Even I don't know much about Japanese history. I just got whatever I could from Bill Wirtz and whatever East Asian studies I could. Yeah, and whatever Japanese language books I got. That's all the knowledge I got of Japan. Even if I know the language, I don't know much about the history. Actually, I don't know much about the language at all, dear God. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. The professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As a head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're Detective Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Ahem. Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none. Oh, man. I should go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhado-san's release. Oh, yes. Thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. That's never explained. At least until later on. Will we ever find out? Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke. I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. Ha 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 ha! I didn't do a thing. You did! You helped out! You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during the trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one who's destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, serious. If I helped you today. It was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat. I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. You know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Believing in his or her client? Knowledge of law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it? I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make the choice about what you believe in. Stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. Being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing your clients. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and time again, where you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? And you're still bleeding from the mouth. Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first victory. And your first city tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah yes, that too. My very first trial came to an end. My god. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Jusato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still... It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Warida. Suzuku. There we go. Alright, that's it. I gotta stop here. I need... Defense debut. Oh my god, that took a while. That took a long while. That took such a long while. I'm gonna stop here. I gotta get going. Thank you all for joining, and I will continue all in the next whatever the hell is up here. Alright?